very special episode of Quarantine Chronicles After Dark. My name is Kevin. To my left, we have Jason.
Hello. Wow, that's weird. Ooh,
to my right, we have Angel.
What's up?
And on this episode of Quarantine Chronicles After Dark, we're going to talk about a lot of things. Why is it After Dark, you ask? Because this might be one of the latest podcasts that we've ever recorded. As a trio.
Good save.
Right?
Good save. Yes, because Angel and I think Angel, what's the latest we've done around Nintendo? Like 12:30 at night after the Rhythm Heaven event years ago?
Yeah, it was definitely after midnight.
Yeah. But this is up there.
And I don't know.
This is up there.
And I don't know if that's the same episode where we thought it wouldn't save or something, and we were afraid that we were going to have to record everything all over again.
Yeah, that was one where we almost had nervous breakdowns. That was a good time.
Wait, now I remember. We did one
Cinder
after
blocks
work.
were dropped.
We did one after work. I got off of work at 10:30 and hauled ass to Angel's house to record an episode.
Yeah,
I don't remember. Did we also almost lose the audio there?
Yeah, I think the later at night, the more the podcast gremlins come out, and then the more likely we are to lose it. Yeah.
Yeah, also because I had encoded it but didn't save it, and then it was interesting.
I was gonna lose my mind, especially because I had work the next day at 6.
Yeah, you're basically doing what you basically did what Angel's doing now.
It wasn't that I was gonna lose my mind. It was more like, oh man, I did this 2-hour podcast for essentially nothing. Not essentially nothing, but it was I could have gotten 2 extra hours of sleep.
No, yeah, and as everyone knows, if you record something again after having done that, the quality just worsens. You just become a summary of your previous self.
Yeah. Is there ever going to be an episode where we lose an entire episode of either RN or Quarantine Chronicles where we go, nope?
It's about to happen.
I feel like you're jinxing it now.
I mean, the odds, it has to happen. We were overall, we're at over 240 episodes between the two.
Yeah. So, I don't think it has to happen. I think technology will hold for us. Now I've definitely jinxed it though. But
considering your
your
Mac problems, your MacBook problems.
Well, to be fair, it's I did update GarageBand the other day, so we might be in the clear now.
If anything, aren't the odds of the fact we're doing recording from home means that we've increased the odds of something going wrong with that by 3.
Yeah, 3 is
because if
I never thought
if we
about it
completely lose Jason. If we completely lose Jason's audio for whatever reason, his audio is just gone. What do we do? It's do we just
publish it?
Put that out? I thought that'd be interesting. Just put it out anyway, and just let them figure out what Jason said, or Jason could try, or Jason could listen to it and try to have the conversation as he's doing it.
I'll put it this way. I'll put it this way. Because I've listened back to my pieces of it, and I know you guys when you're editing yours listen back to your pieces. When there's long silent gaps and there's not the other people talking, all you hear is breathing, and it's the weirdest, most uncomfortable ASMR of yourself or of someone. It's you do not want a 2/3 of us episode. It would be weird. So
and you would be down to get Kevin and my recording and just listen in and try to fill in the gaps as best as you can.
I was always impressed as a kid by animes being able to fit the dubbing in the tight time frame and get where the mouth is moving. So I would just be living that out. So yeah, I'd try it.
Well, I guess we'd have to.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'd be please don't make me record it again. Depends on the time.
I will say if
maybe I'll be let's do take a 3-hour break and come back later.
I will say if I had to do that, if I had to sub in after the fact, it would take probably 4 times as long because I would have to go do so many passes of it to make sure it fits and that has a transition back to what you're saying. So I can't just say something and then have you go, I know tangerines, right? I have to be blah 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 tangerines or make some sort of connecting thing. So it would be actually really challenging to do.
That'd be an episode I would listen to.
Yeah, it'd be like me. It'd be like improv in reverse because the yes and already happened. You have to make it get to it. It'd be...
Speaking of improv, have either of you ever done one of those community center improv classes?
Oh, the workshops? No, I've always messed with the idea of it because I have written stand-up before. Just little 5-minute bits that I am way too afraid to
Proud
actually
of?
do in front of. No, not proud of. I'm way too afraid to actually do it in front of a crowd. Just because stories of bombing at at a comedy club they're not 1 in a million. It happens to everybody. It happens to every famous comedian. Not that I would become a famous comedian, but it's like, do I really want to go through that through
I
bombing?
can picture you being a famous
I could see you being a comedian. You have the timing.
Even Gomi just has a nice ring to it as a comedian.
No, I probably wouldn't use Gomi as like my stage name.
That'd be like his like Twitch.
It wouldn't be
handle
intentional.
or, like,
like that nickname would pop up somewhere, and then people are just gonna like adopt it, and then you're just gonna have to live with it.
It's like what's his name being called Fluffy by everyone. I forgot the actual.
Oh
comedian's name.
no, I don't want that.
He didn't come up with that.
Well, no, I mean he came up with it, but that wasn't his stage name. It was just a nickname that then became his main name, basically.
No, his stage name isn't Fluffy.
His
stage name is
it's Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah, no, I know, but he would like put Fluffy in quotes next to it, or in the middle of it, or like Gabriel Fluffy, like back in the day, I think.
Or
was it his character or something?
Spot in LA Live, reserved just specifically for him. Yeah.
How often does he go to LA? There isn't that much to do at LA Live, truthfully. They try
nowadays there isn't much to do at LA Live, but
yeah.
I mean, you could go to the theater.
I guess you could go to
bowling alley.
You could hit up Smash Burger. You could hit up Starbucks there.
He could go to it's not just any Smash Burger.
There's a Wells Fargo ATM around there.
I mean, if he lives close enough, and that's like his local theater, I mean, that'd be pretty.
If
convenient.
he lives close enough, he could just walk and not need a parking spot.
Well, it's because
him walk.
He was pretty much doing yearly
I'm
shows.
just kidding.
We kid Gabriel.
Shows at Microsoft Theater.
Oh, then that's why.
What was it called before? I already forgot.
It was Nokia Theater and Club Nokia, and now it's Microsoft Theater and what's the name? The Novo. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that was a long tangent.
We're good at it.
How was your guys' week?
It's going by faster, I've noticed. Like, I didn't realize we're like on like month 4 of because this would be episode 7, right? So I mean, we'd be on month 4 of the quarantine already, which like it feels like it's been forever, but also like the pace is picking up a little. Do you guys get that feeling?
No, not at all.
Work was just getting busy, so the days just definitely passed by faster for me.
That's kind of what I mean.
But I also introduced a tournament series to my coworkers. Like I hosted a tournament among them, and that's been going great. Like we've been staying after work a little bit just to do some matches.
Tournament. What
that's
kind
been
of
really
tournament?
fun. Nidhogg 2.
Oh.
So in case some people have never played that game, Nidhogg 2 is a simple. I'll call it simple. It's like a side scroller. You just move left, right, and up, and then you have a jump button and an attack button. And the goal is to get past your opponent and just to make it all the way to the end. So if you start on the left side of the screen, you just want to keep going right, and vice versa. And whoever's on the left whoever's on the right wants to go to the left. And obviously, if you get past them, they will keep spawning in front of you to try to block you. But you just want to either jump over them, kill them, whatever it takes. It's a really simple game to pick up, but it just has a lot of nuance to it that just makes it really addicting. Although it was on sale for the last 2 weeks for $7, and I know it is on every console, right? I've been playing it on Steam, but I know it's on Switch
and it's on PlayStation.
I wouldn't be
Is it on Xbox? It's probably on Xbox.
I wouldn't be surprised. It probably is.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing about it that's kind of like a bummer that Nidhogg 1 I really liked the art style of it. I mean, it was just like pixel art, but it was essentially fencing because in part 1 you only had the sword, and the way they were animated was just kind of funny because it was pretty much very simplistic pixel animation. But the sequel went way toony with it,
way stylized, like the like blobby monsters.
Yeah, they look like Muppets, like weird fleshy Muppets. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's just very distinct, like very, very distinct.
Fleshy Muppets.
And I would say it's like the art style alone is kind of polarizing. Like you either like it or you hate it. But the game itself is still very sound. I mean, they introduced a bunch more weapons, a bunch more themes. I mean, it's just a very creative and fun game. The only thing that's kind of a bummer that I wish they had made it so that more people could play at once, but I guess you can't really, since it's just you're either going left or right. I mean, I guess it could be teams of 2 versus teams of 2. I don't know, but kind of curious where they'll go with that. But I really like that game. Nidhogg 2.
Who is the developer
Available
of that?
now. I don't remember. I knew the name. It's a weird name, but they've made some. The only other game I know they've made is some weird. You're like the bar in I guess in Pong. We'll just call it the bar from Pong. And every time you press, and you could, the bar, it's just like a line, because everything is pixels in that game. But you're moving through, I guess, like a black void, and you're that bar. And it's pretty much like a giant maze. You're just trying to get from one point to the other, but it's apparently really difficult. It's just one of those games, but I don't know. I don't think they're known for much, but yeah, been hosting that tournament. Because of that, week has just been feeling shorter. I haven't even had that much time to animate some stuff for myself this week, but I have put in some more time into Final Fantasy. I am now able to. I've made it to the point where I can now fly to any kingdom of my choosing. I think I'm level 18, last I checked. So still getting there. Finally have a little companion. It's a little wind-up toy ship that could follow me around, but then I see other people's companions. Like, they literally have a little golem from Dragon Quest, and I'm like, God damn it. Like, I wish I had that.
Yeah, there was a Dragon Quest, I guess, tie-in recently.
Ah, really?
Uh-huh.
Did they give away any slimes?
I don't know. I haven't seen any slimes in the game, so.
Huh. I feel like there's no way they didn't, but then again, I don't know. I hope I haven't missed out on any other collaborations. I just love these. I didn't realize, I guess, the anime. I guess I don't want to call that anime, but calling it anime. Like, Final Fantasy has like a very, like, I guess I would say like anime aesthetic. A lot of games have these anime aesthetics, like in on mobile and these MMOs, and I feel like they're always crossing over with something. And I feel like this one has had. I know it had a crossover with Monster Hunter, and I'm guessing. Did it also have a crossover with Final Fantasy 7?
I'm gonna assume.
Oh
so.
no!
You can buy a Cloud costume for your character.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn. Oh no! Monster Hunter had a crossover with Final Fantasy recently-ish.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you have to like fight the Goliath or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But man, maybe there'll be an Ace Attorney crossover eventually.
Ooh, that's a
We'll
long
see.
shot.
Yeah, that is a long shot, but nice to have dreams. Nice to have dreams.
I know.
Yeah.
Monster Hunter did cross over with Ace Attorney.
But that's within
They made the
Capcom.
long-
That's not as crazy.
No, I know, but they made the sword just a giant finger.
Okay, that's very
pretty
good,
cool.
actually.
Well, I mean, it was an arm with the finger. pointing,
Either way, that's
as you can
still.
imagine. Yeah,
What about you, Kevin?
You
How,
know,
how was your week?
they did it. They did it.
My week?
Yeah,
How's
you
my
haven't
week?
said yet. Yeah.
Oh, it was fine. Got back.
Yeah, I guess how our weeks were, and they're like,
back
"Mine's
at,
good."
back
That's
at
it.
work after being quarantined at home. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the last Quarantine Chronicles I was still quarantined. I don't remember. It's been
Staying
that
true
long.
to the name.
Time is just weird nowadays. It's terrible. But speaking of like Final Fantasy 14, I actually haven't been able to play it that much because, and in my smoothest of segues, Xbox Game Pass is a thing. And if I had a problem with buying video games and never touching them, this is just going to make it that much worse.
Wait, so hasn't it always been a thing?
Game Pass?
Xbox Game Pass?
No.
Yeah. So what is this version of Game Pass that you're talking about exactly? I
Okay,
guess?
so I recently bought an Xbox One X, specifically the Cyberpunk edition. Now, originally
Oh,
I was
right.
going to be
So you kept.
I was going to be a naughty boy and flip it online, but I decided, you know what? My PS4, I now have it over by my computer desk whenever I want to stream some PS4 games. So instead of using my smart TV's like built-in smartness, I guess you would call it, the Roku TV, I was like, you know what? I'll just use the Xbox. I know that apps are very, very well developed on the Xbox for some reason, and they're just really bad on PlayStation. So I said, you know what? I'll just make it my media center for my room. So I hooked it up, or well, like unboxing the Xbox. There was a little card that said, "Hey, when Cyberpunk comes out, you will get the game. No, you don't need to, what's it called? You don't need to redeem
Like
any
download
code.
anything.
It's like already on the console. The game isn't on the console, but the code is on the console.
Oh, like the unlock key, so to speak, is there, and it
Yeah,
goes
sort
to
of.
ping.
And
Interesting.
That's kind of
exactly,
cool.
yeah, yeah. And then similarly, there was another card that said the same thing for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is for $15. You get Xbox Game Pass on the 360. You get Xbox Live Gold, and you get Xbox Game Pass on the PC. So altogether, it usually is $15 a month because Xbox Game Pass on the Xbox is $10 if I'm not mistaken, and $5 on the PC for now. It's still in beta, so they might drive up the price whenever this
Wait,
is supposed to go
so
to beta.
So if you want to get the Xbox Game Pass for the Xbox, it's more than if you get it for the PC?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
but only right now because it still is in beta on the PC. So I'm pretty sure
I need to
once,
jump on that.
yeah. Oh, let,
I mean, ultimately,
Right.
I think they're gonna move it to, no pun intended, because it's called Ultimate. But I think they are gonna combine them eventually, because the big push is with xCloud now. So it's all gonna be one. So you're gonna have either you can do Game Pass with the downloaded games, this could be one thing, or you can do Game Pass with the cloud attached, which will be another thing. And I don't think they're gonna be divided by PC price versus Xbox price ultimately. That's confusing. You keep saying ultimately, but you know what I mean.
You keep saying
I
ultimately.
know but yeah, I think they're gonna shift the. So yeah, if you want it cheap on PC, get in now while you can.
yeah. So let me explain to you what I did. So similarly, like I said, like with Cyberpunk, there was no code to redeem. It was literally in the settings of like comes with this Xbox, and you click it, and there's Cyberpunk, and there's 1 month free of Game Pass Ultimate. So I was like, whatever, I'll try it. I'm probably never gonna touch this Xbox anyways, so 1 month isn't a big deal. And when I was about to put redeem, in small print it said any months that you have left of Xbox Live Gold will automatically turn into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate months. So then
that's
I was
interesting.
like, huh. So I wonder, I bought a digital code for 12 months of Xbox Live Gold, which was $60. I redeemed it on the Xbox, and then I went ahead and redeemed the one free month of Ultimate, and now I have an entire year of Ultimate for $60.
Wow, nice
Instead
little
of-
hack.
And it's funny because it's not even like it's a hack. This happened before. I could have sworn that when Ultimate originally came out, people were doing this with the $1 promotion. There was
Right.
a $1 promotion, and I think you got 3 months of Ultimate for $1. And what people were doing were buying Xbox Live Gold cards and just going ham. Like people got like 3 years of Ultimate for the price of 3 years of gold.
I mean,
insane.
it makes sense from Microsoft's perspective to do these, to allow these
mean,
loopholes, because you get people
You're
hooked.
getting subscribers no matter what.
Yeah, and so you have a good subscriber base, and they get people hooked on it. And like their future in their mind, as much as they say it's Xbox Series X, their platform going forward, their next generation is Game Pass and xCloud. So like the more people that can get on the ground floor of that and get kind of used to that setup, the better it's going to be for them in the long run. So it's like it's a short term hit for a long term gain. So it kind of makes sense that Microsoft keeps letting that loophole slip through. Like for people that want to put in the work, they're not going to openly be like, everyone come get a year of Game Pass for free. But like they'll allow people that want to figure it out to do it, because they know those are dedicated folks who are going to now. To your point, Kevin, it sounds like you are you hooked on it? Like, is it everything you want it to be?
Dude, so I was already paying $5 a month for Xbox Game Pass on PC, and the selection there is pretty good. The selection on the Xbox is insane. Devil May Cry 5 is a game on Game Pass. Like, Jesus
wow.
Christ. I already knew that their first party stuff would be on there, your Halo, Master Chief Collection, your Gears games, Forzas, their first party offerings. And
Right.
I was like, oh, they'll give away indies as well. But no, they're full-fledged games. Jesus Christ, let me see what I can find. That's how I played Carry On, how I was talking about it on the newest friend of Nintendo, but it's crazy. It's probably the best deal that
Ever.
probably not the best deal ever, but when
It's up there.
it's probably
Curious could have that title.
it's probably the best thing that I subscribe to. And it's like I pay $15 a month for Spotify for my family. As much as I love music and podcasts, this blows it out of the water for sure.
Right.
YouTube Premium, whatever, a Netflix subscription here, a Hulu subscription there. But I think Xbox Game Pass Ultimate just might be the best bang for your buck anything in the entire world. I mean that 100%.
So you feel like they don't even have to buy any more games?
Only if you are a gamer. There is that stipulation. because there's not a lot more that you get. I did get apparently with Game Pass, or I think maybe just Gold, you get like 6 months free of Spotify, but I'm already paying for that, so it's not like I can even use it. So you do get perks with Game Pass Ultimate, but man, if you're a gamer, if you're a PC gamer and an Xbox gamer, this is the best. I don't see why anybody wouldn't go ahead and do this. And Sony does have their version of it, kind of, with PlayStation Now. And I feel like it was almost the catalyst for Xbox Game Pass, because PlayStation Now, it's also $15 a month, or I think they might have reduced the price to $10. But it's cloud gaming in the same way that Stadia is. But if Sony were to just allow you to download every game on PlayStation Now for $10, they would have a killer rival on their hands, I feel like. But
yeah, I think that's
stuck in their ways.
I think that's what Microsoft did so smartly about this, is like they fully embraced every facet of the streaming service model that Spotify, Netflix, all those things you mentioned in other mediums use, which is supporting streaming and supporting offline access. And it doesn't sound like it'd be a big thing, but it makes all the difference. Like in gaming, especially where latency matters, right? Like being able to download the game turns what's an interesting idea into like based on what you're saying, like a must-have practically. So it's just interesting that like because Stadia was trying it too, and and there's like on cloud back in the day and all those. It's interesting how everyone was like had different pieces of the puzzle, but Microsoft's the one that like put it together correctly. It seems like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I'm looking at some of the games, and some of them range from like Alan Wake. It's an Xbox 360 title, but it's still a good one. Batman Arkham Knight. Like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, some of these are older, but that still doesn't change the fact that I can play Devil May Cry 5 for essentially what translated to $5 a month. They have Dragon Quest 11 on here. Jesus Christ. I'm like going through
a lot of really high profile games.
Yeah, like it's insane. There don't get me wrong, there's indies. I'm looking at Hollow Knight, Indivisible. Ooh, I might actually just give that a try, because I like Skullgirls and I like those developers. All the Kingdom Hearts games are on here. Jesus Christ. This is blowing my mind.
It's super impressive.
Listener, do not touch Kingdom Hearts. Do not do it. Monster Hunter World is on here. My God. The PC game side isn't as great, but hey, I mean, you can play Fallout 76 if you want, I guess. But,
we should.
yeah.
I'm saying this legitimately. What if we just cancel the rest of our topics for Quarantine Chronicles and you just keep reacting to what you're finding on Game Pass in real time for 2 hours? That would be spectacular.
Don't get me wrong. There's some stinkers on here. Stranger Things 3, the game. Come on.
That one's actually, honestly, that's not that horrible. I tried it at PAX East. It's kind of like a throwback Super Nintendo, like Zombies Ate My Neighbors sort of vibe thing. It's not bad for what it is.
Right. And like I can try Wolfenstein Youngblood on PC, like how it was meant to be played, not on the Switch. Thank you, Bethesda, for the code. But now, yeah, it's an incredible deal, and I feel like it's been reiterated Jesus.
Reiterated?
Yeah. Plenty of times by the gaming media and people on Twitter. Mm-hmm. But it never exactly hit me just how well this service is. Just how great it is. Until I saw all the games that you can play on your Xbox if you wanted to.
It does make me wonder, like, what it means for the future of, like, the value of games and preservation of games. This is stuff we've talked about in Ram Nintendo back when these services were first starting and when there was rumors of Game Pass maybe making its way to Switch, which Microsoft is now saying they're not bringing it to other consoles, while originally they were kind of considering it. But it is kind of, like, where are the developers getting this money? Like, how are they staying afloat? I mean, I know Microsoft's paying out a fee, but, like, what determines how much they make ultimately? Is it going to be, like, playtime? Like, how many people are engaged with it? Because then, like, things are going to homogenize if they do that. So I can't imagine them doing that. That's what Apple Arcade does.
Well, it's weird because Microsoft, I think Phil Spencer has gone out and said that they don't make a whole lot of profit off Game Pass.
Right.
So
it's more about just getting people in the ecosystem, yeah.
Right.
But even then, like, let's say everyone starts using Game Pass, and a game like Dragon Quest XI, which, you know, is a big moneymaker for Square Enix, and okay, that's a bad example because it's a big moneymaker in Japan, less so here. Kingdom Hearts, big moneymaker worldwide for Square Enix. Like, if a third of their audience is now just getting it through Microsoft's like subsidies, essentially, like, is Square Enix losing out on money at some point? Like, it's an interesting question because apparently, I saw on MPD a while ago that games that are on Game Pass also have pretty big debuts in normal sales. So, like, I'm not quite sure what that relationship is in between, like, people that have Game Pass and people that are buying it anyway, or if there's a crossover, people like it enough that they then go buy it. But as it continues to grow, I'm just thinking out loud here, like, what is that going to turn into? Like, what is gaming going to look like when it is subscription services? And what's that mean for, like, if some game just gets removed from a service the same way that, like, you know, a song can disappear off Spotify or whatever, or a show can be rotated out from Netflix or Disney Plus or HBO Max or Peacock, et cetera, or jump between services. Like, what's that ultimately mean for gaming and, like, having a game versus having temporary access to a game? So it opens a whole can of worms, is what I'm saying. An interesting can of worms, but a whole can of worms.
Yeah,
a whole can,
multiple cans even.
I feel like Halo Infinite is going to be the ultimate limit. I used ultimate.
The litmus test.
The litmus test for this, especially considering you could get Game Pass on Xbox, or assuming that Game Pass is still on beta when Infinite comes out.
Well, that one's gonna be really interesting. That's gonna be really interesting because
you can get an entire Halo game, a huge, full $60 Halo game for $5.
But on the flip side, it seems like they have a monetization strategy in place for that, which is multiplayer in Halo Infinite is confirmed to be free to play, regardless.
We still don't know what the multiplayer is.
That's what I was gonna say. Regardless of how you access it, they're saying it's gonna be free on every platform that Halo Infinite's on, which makes you wonder: are they gonna be monetizing that? Is it gonna be like, yeah, you get it for $5 in Game Pass, but if you want to, like, really do Halo, like, in the free to play world, you gotta buy the season pass, get access to all the latest thing. You know, like, there's ways. It's actually very parallel, weirdly, to, like, what just happened with Disney Plus, where you know, Disney's like, oh, it's $6 for Disney Plus or $7, but then if you want Mulan, that's $30. Which, okay, I guess it's like pay-per-view sort of. I
don't see what the big hubbub is around that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's problematic because, like, if you're,
I'm done. I'm pretty much done talking about Xbox Game Pass. You want to talk about that for a little bit?
If you want, sure. Yeah, the only parallel I was trying to draw there is, like,
I guess,
like, I don't think so. For those who don't know, I guess we should just really quick. If you've somehow been living under a rock, it blew up everywhere. But Disney's saying Mulan's no longer coming.
It blew up. How unfortunately timely.
Is it unfortunately timely? What? Am I missing
your choice of words? Blew up.
What? Oh, well, you know, I didn't make the association. You made it weird.
Just move on.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, but the well, I totally lost the train of thought. Thanks, Angel. Yeah, what I was gonna say is, you know, it caught on really quickly because everyone's like, oh, you pay $7 for Disney Plus, you're supposed to get access to everything a la carte. But now they're building a pay-per-view system on top of it to access Mulan, which was originally going to be a theatrical release worldwide. It will still be internationally, but because the U.S. can't get its act together with coronavirus, they're doing it through Disney Plus instead. And they're charging $30. You get access to it. You pay the $30, you can watch it, and then you get keep being able to watch it as long as your subscription stays active with Disney Plus. And $30, in my opinion, for like a movie isn't bad because if you and one other person go see a movie, it's more than $30 for 2 tickets and popcorn and whatnot. It's like $50 after all said and done.
I mean, if anything, they're losing out if a whole family.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't quite understand the complaints about people saying, "Oh, that's such a ripoff." But I do get, and I think to tie it in with Xbox again, why I think it's potentially a risk with how Game Pass develops, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the monetization scheme down the road. I do get the concern of like, well, if you told me I pay this amount of money and I get everything, and then you're like, psych, actually you need to pay more for this one thing, that's not the best feeling as the consumer. Like, they kind of faked you out a little. Like, it's not horrible,
I feel like
but
people have to understand that this is like a special situation.
Well, for now. They're saying it's a one-off for Mulan, but you don't just build an entire pay-per-view platform on top of your streaming platform for one-time use. Like, this is most like, unless it bombs, they're going to do this with all their stuff. And likewise, if let's go back to Halo again. Let's say they do free-to-play multiplayer and they do a season pass in there. There's no way that they do this
with Black Widow. No way.
I don't know.
Absolutely no. They might do it for like the New Mutants, but.
Really? Well, you know what's weird? New Mutants is still coming.
I mean, it's a prequel. No one cares about
New Mutants is still coming to theaters a week before Mulan's original release date. So I don't know.
Well, I think,
or not original, but newest release date.
I think there was something in the clause that everything that Fox was working on, Disney has to release theatrical. So New Mutants, unfortunately, is. I hope it releases.
I feel
like this
bad
month.
For that movie's crew. It's been delayed so many times. No, I'm not talking about
the. It's just like a running joke.
No, I know, but that's why I feel bad about it. I was like, never mind, like, maybe the movie isn't good. That seems to be the takeaway. And they had to do reshoots and say what you will about the cast, but I feel bad for the crew that, like, made that thing. Like, the actual crew behind everything. The set designers, the light, like, all the cameramen, all that. Like, they have this project. Maybe it was, like, their first big, like, like a Marvel movie project. And then it's just been, like, literally in development hell for, like, 3-4 years. Yeah, and they keep being like, no, I'm telling you, I have this movie. I swear, Mom and Dad, I was involved in a Marvel movie. It's real. It really is. I just can't show you ever because it keeps getting delayed.
Right.
But, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. You might be right. Black Widow might be a Tenet sort of situation where they need it to be a big popcorn flick type of thing to recoup the cost. Or the creators may be that passionate about it. But I do think it's an interesting precedent it could set if it works across all formats, really. Because, like, at that point, what's to stop, Spotify's really iterating on podcasts right now, and I don't think they're going to start charging for podcasts, but what's to stop Spotify or someone from being like, hey, you have access to this music, but do you want our new digital form of a deluxe album? Well, that's going to be a premium per deluxe thing you get, or whatever that means. I don't know. Maybe it's like $1 more and you get, like, some cool interactive thing. But, like, this idea that, like, suddenly the a la carte services may be a baseline that you then pay on top of, basically the cable model with pay-per-view. That is interesting.
I think you just nailed I think you just nailed it on the head. It's a premium. Yeah, it's going to cost more.
Right.
Like, what is it that people just aren't understanding about that?
I think it's just I wouldn't say fake out, but I guess fake out of like
because I don't think it's the fear. I'm not seeing a lot of people saying like, oh man, they're doing this with Mulan. Imagine what they're going to do with something else. People are saying like, no, I don't want to do this at all.
Right. Right. Well, which is essentially like, if Mulan works, they don't want it to continue. If they don't want to do it at all, that would include future iterations.
I feel like people are just complaining that it's $30, honestly. Not that this might be a slippery slope. I think it's just like literally now in the moment, it's like, what? We're already paying $7 a month for this. $7 isn't anything.
Yeah. No. In terms of recouping costs,
it should cost like, if we're being honest, it should cost as much as Netflix.
Yeah, it should. Disney is, and Disney did that low price to get the insane. They hit their, I think, 3-year subscriber goal in 6 months or something. Yeah, it's crazy. Like they're at like 60 million or 50 million or some insane number, and that they're going to slowly creep up that price, like the same way Netflix did. Like it's going to be $12-$13 in a year or two, I'm sure. Unless maybe they do this premium thing instead. Maybe that's their strategy. So who knows? But yeah, I just thought like when one, it's funny that like gaming used to be paid a flat rate for like access to online, like Xbox Live, but then every game you pay on top, and that was like considered fine. And then gaming's like, well, if we just gave you everything at once. Meanwhile, movies, which were all everything at once, are now like, well, what if we make you pay on top of the flat rate? It is kind of funny how they like switch places. But yeah, every time I hear Game Pass, I just think about Halo's free multiplayer and what does that mean? What is the Trojan horse in there? There's no way Microsoft is going to forever not make money on Halo.
What? You don't think a corporation would just be nice just for the sake of being nice?
Believe it or not, I do not. But
that being said,
has there ever been?
I feel like Microsoft is being very, very consumer friendly.
There's something brewing. There's something brewing. They need to make money. You know, they got to pay off that forced TikTok purchase at some point. So they got to recoup that cost.
Well, I guess.
But yeah. But yeah, that's all I was going to say about the Mulan thing, which is kind of the tie-in.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah.
Angel.
Yo.
Explain to me what Teppen is.
Slating you what's happened is?
Explain to him what
Explain
Teppen
to me
is.
what Teppen is.
Oh, man.
You're the one that put him in the docket.
No, I know. I'm just hurting because, like, Teppen was supposed to be the chosen one. Like,
What's it?
Yes. How could it not have been? Like, everything was going in its favor. Like, we've already established
I don't know if this is sarcasm or not.
Yeah.
Like, we've already... So, for those that don't know, like, I'm going to be talking about Teppen, which is a card game, a digital card game.
Your
by
favorites?
Capcom.
Ooh, another favorite of yours?
Which is literally... And the game is basically what Hearthstone is doing, but for all Capcom properties.
You love Hearthstone.
Not just World of Warcraft. Exactly.
It's like Capcom Smash Bros. In cards.
Yeah, so you could pick a class, which are split into like 6 different classes, and you pick a different hero, and each hero has their own ability. So it's even taking it a few steps further than Hearthstone in some aspects. So you could play as Wesker, you could play as the Rathalos from Monster Hunter, as Ryu from Street Fighter, Dante from Devil May Cry. Like, there's like Mega Man. There's a bunch of different characters, and they'll have a really cool, gritty art style that's still in line with the characters that everyone just kind of fits to. It's like they did what Smash Brothers does, where they all feel like they belong in the same universe, but they still retain their I guess, personalities.
To be honest, I know it's just circumstance, but pairing Mega Man with the word gritty right after just gives me bad Barman Act Zero flashbacks. Remember that game?
Oh, well, it was Mega Man X specifically.
Oh, well, that's a little better. Okay, yeah. I'm just picturing like Rush the Dog, but gritty, which doesn't work.
And yeah, so you can imagine, like, when I first heard about this game, like, this game actually came out a year ago. We first played it at E3 last year and Comic-Con. And it just happened to be the year anniversary because the app just was just pinging me. And so I checked it out again, and I was like, all right, let's see what went wrong. Like, why haven't I replaced this with Hearthstone? Why haven't I replaced Hearthstone with this? Because it's perfect. Like, characters I really care about in a digital card game format, like Whistler Not a Love. And I'll get into that. So, right off the bat, like, it's just designed, like, its interface is kind of like probably my biggest sticking point. Like, Hearthstone, which coincidentally, I guess also just had a new expansion release, School of Man's Academy, which added new mechanics to the game, new cards, and all that kind of stuff. So I was playing both of them this week, and just trying to fall in love with Teppen, and it just not happening. So, yeah, with Teppen, the interface is very much a free-to-play game interface, which I don't know why. Like, I think for me specifically, like, it just really turns me off of a game whenever it's just like filled to the brim with like billboard ads. Like, it just has like a billboard at all times saying like, "Oh, go buy this pack," or as soon as you go anywhere, there's like, "Buy this other thing, buy these other." Oh, here's like a free packet of crystals or whatever their monetary thing is. Like, Hearthstone never does any of that. Like, at most that they'll do is that when a new expansion comes out, they'll give you some free stuff that just like, it comes out like a pop-up as soon as you open up the app. They'll just say like, "Oh, here are some free cards." And then like a wooden banner that's like custom made will just say like, "Oh, School of Man's Academy is here," and that's it. There isn't anything that ever tells you, come to the shop, come to this, come to that. Like, you just do that on your own. But this game and other free-to-play games that I've played, just do that all the time, and I don't know, it feels kind of insulting, but just like how in your face it is all the time, just makes everything feel like even if I were actively paying for this game, I still wouldn't have the full experience just because the banners are just so intrusive anywhere you go. And
in a weird way, it almost speaks, I think, to the confidence the developers have in their gameplay. Or maybe not the developers. They might be confident. The confidence the publisher has in the gameplay. Because like Hearthstone, in general. Because like with Hearthstone, they know the gameplay's good enough that people will go to the shop. In a game where they have to be that aggressive with the market, it's kind of like, do they not trust their own gameplay mechanics enough to know it'll hook people? Or are they concerned that like it's not good? Like it reminds me of what Ken was saying about Elder Scrolls Blades on the normal brand Nintendo a couple episodes ago, where it's just like in your face. It's kind of like, dude, is someone on the business side aware that this like it doesn't have the stickiness it needs to? So they're like trying to compensate for gameplay not issues, but like lacking quote unquote gameplay.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate because it just makes it feel unappealing. Like if I were to give someone that's never played Hearthstone or Teppen like the game and just be like, oh, just mess around in the menus, I guarantee you that they would figure out where their card collection is, how to make a deck, and enter a game much faster than it would be to do that in Teppen. Just because everything is... I mean, honestly, like, Blizzard... I mean, I can't really speak too much about their other games because I've only really played Hearthstone and just watched Overwatch. But I feel like the way they designed the UI and the game in general, I guess to me, like, reminds me a lot about how Nintendo designs a lot of their games, or a lot of their interface is just very simple, extremely user-friendly, and it almost makes the game feel sometimes too easy or like kind of kiddie in a way. I don't know if it's like the right word to say, but it's just very, very easy to get around. And Teppen is definitely not like that. Like everything is just like a lot of text everywhere. There's like a lot of tiny little icons all over the place that you kind of have to hover over. And also just like quality of life things, like in Hearthstone, whenever you're, for one thing, like if I'm playing a game and you have all the cards in front of you, if I tap a card, like the card just like enlarges a little so I could see it as I'm tapping it, and then as soon as I let go, it will shrink back down. So it's incredibly what's the word I'm looking for?
User friendly.
Not user friendly.
Intuitive.
The word intuitive. Yeah, there you go. I don't know why I was banging on that word. Everything is very intuitive. It kind of just works the way you would expect it to. Mm-hmm. Like when I'm like looking at my gallery of cards to build a new deck, I just tap and hold on a card, and it'll just like zoom in, quickly scroll through them. I could even slide my finger across and it'll like enlarge them. But in Teppen, the cards, like you only see the portrait, you don't see the text. Because in Hearthstone you see the text at all times. Like the whole card is a picture and text. When you play the card and it enters the battlefield, the text disappears and you just get like an oval portrait of the monster just representing it. You don't see the text anymore unless you tap it. In Teppen, when you're playing a game, you don't see the text anywhere whatsoever at all. Like only like, so you have to pretty much remember what everything does. And I tell you, like for as many years as I've been playing Hearthstone, I still like to reread my effects or tap on what my opponent is doing, because most of the time you don't know what cards your opponent has or see those cards as often. You usually just really know your cards. And not being able to see what they do, like as soon as they play something, it'll usually tell you what it does very briefly, but it seems to make way more sense just to give you the option to tap it at any time and just see what it does. And what makes it worse is that when you're in the gallery on Teppen looking through your deck to see how you can make a new deck, when you tap on a card, it'll literally take you to another window or page with like the card zoomed in and the text on the side. So then when you want to go to the next card, you have to tap back to go back to the gallery, which it sounds like a minor nitpick, but when you're looking at hundreds of cards back to back, it gets really annoying to have to tap on one, go back, tap back instead of just tap and hold, just sliding your finger across naturally. It's like little things like that just kind of add up. But as far as the game itself, though, I really love that they were trying something very different. Like most card games, you take your turn, you hit done, and then your opponent takes their turn. It's very much a back and forth. Teppen, their goal was to make an active card game where you don't have to wait for your opponent to make a move, which is really cool. Because, like, one thing about Hearthstone or any card game in general is that sometimes, especially when you're playing games that are online, you have some people that, they could be doing something else, so they might not even be paying attention, and then you have to wait on them. And then it'll give you, like, a countdown timer when their turn is about to end, but most people will actually wait until that timer and then do their turn, which gets really annoying. But in Teppen, essentially, you have a meter that is constantly recharging, and it's kind of slow. It's like, let's say, every 2 seconds that go by, you get 1 pip of meter. And you could use those pips of meter to spend on your cards. So if I have a card that costs 3, then you have to wait for the meter to reach 3, and then when I play the 3 cost card, my meter will subtract by the cost of that card. And as soon as you play it, the meter will start filling in again. So in a way that there is some waiting, but you're never really waiting on your opponent. And the nice thing is that you could play your card on any one of 3, slots, and then your card will automatically start attacking your opponent, and that will be represented by a bar that stretches across the screen. And when it reaches your opponent's side of the screen, they get the damage dealt. They in turn could play a monster to defend that row that your monster is in, and then their monster will take a hit. And that just kind of goes back and forth until somebody dies, and throw in special abilities for each character, and it's pretty cool. Like, it's a really cool game. The only problem is that for all the different archetypes that there are, because of the type of game that it is, it definitely doesn't favor trying to go for crazy fun strategies. You pretty much just want to play very low cost cards and just buff them up slowly over time, and then you win. Just because you get to play them right away, attack immediately, and the games just got boring really fast.
And there's why the billboards are all over the place. There had to be a reason. There it is. They didn't have a gameplay hook that's sticky enough.
So like the gameplay hook could have been fun, but because of the type of game that it is, I don't know. I guess it'd be like if, I guess it's kind of like Melee. It's like, do you really want to see everyone just use Fox? I'm kind of exaggerating because Melee is a little more diverse, just a little. But it's not, no game is fun if you're just fighting the same character over and over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And it's not fun to lose to that strategy, and I personally don't find playing that way fun because there's no diversity. You're just literally doing the same thing over and over again. Mm-hmm. I like playing decks that force me to adapt to situations and do other things that I may not have thought of, or find, just finding creative solutions to complex problems. And these are literally just like, you win immediately, or you make the game last a long time and you eventually lose because you run out of steam, because you're kind of going, you're blowing your resources really fast. But so Teppen, like, I gave it another shot. I feel like they just have to rework their UI, and that will do numbers for them. But for now, Hearthstone still has me, and even with the new expansion, which introduces like dual class cards, which are cool. Just like the way they're just really experimenting with their art, and I just love that them, more so than any other card game, are really like diving into the fact that it's digital. So you get a lot of crazy things where, like, you can, I guess what's a good example? So you could like essentially duplicate one card. Like, you can make 20 copies of a single card and add them to your deck. You wouldn't be able to do that on a real life card game. Or because you're not going to go out and be like, all right, I'll be right back, or here's my backpack of 20 copies of this one card. Because technically you can make a copy of any card, because I do use that strategy. And there's also like some other cards that pretty much cost you your entire turn to play. But there's literally one that says, play 10 random spells, which could literally do anything, and cast them on 10 random targets. So, those cards are fun sometimes, but other times, like, I'll be winning. No, I'll be winning or losing. Doesn't really matter. And then someone will play that game, and then it just comes down to, all right, it's just a dice roll whether I win or not. Like, sometimes they'll summon them a bunch of monsters, and then it'll play another spell that will immediately wipe our entire field, rendering the monsters that just summoned them useless. And sometimes they'll end up killing me, sometimes they'll end up killing them. Like, I've once played that card thinking like, oh man, I'm ahead in the game. It's going to play 10 random spells. It doesn't even matter what they are. Like, I'm just going to win. And for whatever reason, I just got hit with a string of draw 5 cards. I already had a max hand, so I had to destroy 5 of my cards. Then the next one was deal 10 damage, and it dealt it to my face, and I ended up killing myself. So it was like, well, yeah, that's Hearthstone. So there is some Mario Kart-ish aspects to it, but overall, though, like, even though there is an RNG element, in the long run, the skill will win out. Mm-hmm. So while you may lose some matches, kind of ridiculously sometimes, they usually end up being points where you're like, oh man, that was crazy. Like, you don't really feel bad for losing in those instances, which is always fun. But in Teppen, unfortunately, like, nicely for them, they don't have any kind of RNG element. But because there's already a clear type of deck that's very dominant, like, yeah, it just doesn't feel really good to win or lose, unfortunately. But yeah, that's the state of digital card games right now. And I guess Artifact is in there somewhere, but I don't really know what that is.
I was about to say, now that you have a PC, when Artifact relaunches, are you down to give it a try?
I'm down to give it a try just because it looks very different. Like, the fact you have 3 boards going on at the same time. I mean, it looks like they're trying to really replicate Dota.
Yeah.
And I saw this great video by I don't know if you've heard of him. He's called Nidhogg on YouTube. He does a lot of videos where he'll explain something with cooking. So he'll be like, this is Breath of the Wild versus Red Dead Redemption with cooking. And it's like, oh, Breath of the Wild, like, you go to a restaurant and the chef's like, oh, just have fun in the kitchen. And he doesn't even help you. So you might make some crappy food, but you might also make some good food, but you never really know what you're going to make. And then Red Dead Redemption is like, all right, here is the same kitchen, but everything is nicely labeled, and you end up making these really bomb tacos, but then the tacos are so bomb that you don't want to make anything else. Pretty much showing, his example was that you have many different ways to go and kill your opponents, but because, like, guns are just so powerful that you don't want to do anything else except just shoot them, so the game just becomes just a shooter. But yeah, he compares Hearthstone with Artifact, and I thought it was a great video. Does a lot of those like that. But yeah, definitely down to give that one a try. I didn't realize, what do you mean by relaunching? Did it, like, backtrack or something?
Bombed.
What happened?
It bombed hard when it came out because the game cost $20, and then excuse me, unlike Hearthstone where you get cards for free, you had to pay for, like, booster packs. That was the only way to get new cards.
So they had a base price and a per booster pack price?
Yeah.
What were they thinking?
It was something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because you do have to pay for booster packs in Hearthstone, but you can also spend in-game money. Like, when the expansion came out, I literally had enough in-game money that I've acquired just from playing the game to open 60 packs, which is I guess $55 worth of cards, because you could spend $50 to get 55 packs.
Right.
And yeah, and their in-game economy, like, you could disintegrate a card for a quarter of its value, so GameStop proportions. And then you could use that dust to...
That's still much better than what GameStop
that's like quadruple GameStop.
Well, yeah, then you use all that dust that you get from disintegrated cards to then create whichever card you want. So, in theory, you can completely survive easily off of that market. But I know in Artifact, it's a free market. Like, you can actually sell your card to the public and buy your card to the public, but then you're at the mercy of the prices of the public, which kind of sucks sometimes, I would imagine.
And they took it back to the drawing board. And apparently it's been closed beta for a while now. But yeah, so we'll see how that looks upon relaunch.
At least they're trying.
I'm sure Nidhogg will make a video comparing old Artifact to Artifact. Yeah.
Like a restaurant, like, relaunching itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious then to check it out more so now when it relaunches. just can't believe that was what Valve was working on. I just remember seeing like, oh, Valve's next game, and then like the trailer comes out, it's like, oh, whoa, it's gonna be like some fantasy thing, and then it's like Artifact,
and everybody,
the trading card game.
and everybody cheered, and then the subtitle came out, a Dota card game,
and it got real quiet.
You just hear the stadium go, oh, like a collective moan from the crowd. Yeah, Valve.
It is interesting, like how. I mean, I just always found it cool, and I guess kind of. I mean, I don't want to say the word reassuring, but like I remember playing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh in middle school, but I felt like the intended age for the card game obviously skewed a little lower. But I still knew a lot of people that played it. Then I still played it in high school and I think even college. And that's kind of, well, college is like around the time that I just stopped, just because it just became too much. But even then, you never really saw like the age group getting older. And I was kind of thinking like, oh man, like it feels like way too late to play Magic the Gathering, because that game definitely skews a lot older. But when I checked out Hearthstone, I thought it was going to be kind of the same problem with Yu-Gi-Oh, but I ended up being like pretty much very rest assured that like, oh, when I went to, I guess they had fireside gatherings, pretty much places where you go meet up with other people that play Hearthstone when a new expansion releases.
Right.
And they're literally held at bars, and you're playing with, and if anything, like I was the youngest one there. Like there were people in their late 30s, early 40s. There was one guy that was probably in his 50s, but like it's just very welcome to just like play a card game with like a very wide age range that, for a very simplistic card game, I guess like I wouldn't expect it, because I know my sister has seen the game. She hates it because like me and my brother-in-law and I like talk about it all the time, and she can't relate. But she's seen how like simple it looks, and when we told her we were going to go to one of these gatherings, one, she was shocked that it was at a bar, and then when she saw the group, she was like, oh wow, I thought this was like a little kids game, and you guys were just going to be around like 10 and 12 year olds, and we're like, oh no, this is like for adults and stuff. And we're like, oh well. But yeah, that's neither here nor there, but I just thought that was kind of nice that there is still a very thriving community for everybody.
Right.
Or there's always games for everybody.
I was a Duel Masters kid.
Duel Masters?
Yeah, you don't know Duel Masters?
The name sounds familiar. I feel like I recognize the logo.
Yeah.
I think it has dragons.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
I was Pokemon the trading card game, and I had the badges to prove it from the card game.
Never understood how to play that game.
I immediately just never even bothered to try to learn Pokemon, just because, I mean, I was very much like Pokemon, like the video game is the closest you could get to the Pokemon experience. So it's like the card game, I didn't even bother.
I don't think you fully understand my obsession with Pokemon when I was a kid.
Because I was like, trainers don't use cards, that's dumb. And then Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like, oh, they use cards in the TV show. That's why like I just immediately, it was just more immersive, I guess, for me. It's like I didn't like the idea of having to use multiples of the same Pokemon. It was like,
if the Pokemon logo was on it, I would buy it and be all about it. I have multiple, like, just
not much has changed to normal.
This is true, but no, I have multiple just duffel bags full of random Pokemon merch, books, toys, things, this, that, and the next thing, and I have like 3,000 Pokemon cards. I did the Pokemon trading card game. It helped out like my childhood best friend. He was super into it too, so we were like we were together going through the Pokemon like craziness. But no, it was like I jokingly like, oh, I was a Pokaholic as a kid, but like literally, like it was like a problem, probably like so much money down the tubes.
So it's like the thing where like, oh, I'm a Pokaholic, and everyone like starts laughing, and then you slowly like turn away.
Exactly, exactly. You're like, I just want them to reach out to me.
Internally.
Yeah, no, but I actually really like the Pokemon trading card game. I mean, it's definitely the simplest of the bunch, from what I've gathered.
No,
it's not.
It's definitely not.
It feels like it is.
No,
it felt easy. It felt simple. Like Magic felt weird to me at the time.
I mean, maybe back then, but like I tried getting into Pokemon, the trading card game, because they have a digital version of the app. Mm-hmm. And even though it's official, for whatever reason, they decided to use characters that straight up look like characters that would be in a knockoff version of this game. They look like fake. They look like fake anime characters.
That's odd.
It's like you're using the official Pokemon license. Why not have characters that look like they belong in a Pokemon universe? They don't have to be actual characters.
Right.
But nope, they look like user-created anime avatars or something like that.
Well, I think it's gotten more complicated.
But yeah, that game is. I would say it's pretty complex. I would say Hearthstone is definitely the easiest card game to learn right now. Pokemon is definitely more complex.
Pokemon in 1999 through 2002 was super, because like it boiled down to, you put Pokemon down to attack. You had energy that powered the attacks, and you had items that augmented what you were doing, and that was it. Now they have like EX cards, and they're introducing Mega Evolutions, and they have like duality things, like 2 Pokemon. Like now it's complicated, but like when I played it,
and most games, and it makes sense for a game that's been out that long.
Yeah.
I mean, just like because of power creep, cards that were once good back in the day and released on a standard like booster pack are now considered trash, because a standard card nowadays is probably like an OP version. You know, like people will tout about, like our generation might be like, oh man, Charizard is such a good card, but the people that play the game were like, oh, actually that card was kind of garbage.
That was trash. It's all about the Entei, Dual X, duality.
Yeah, like even in the meta, it's like, but yeah, like I mean, yeah, that game is definitely tough. And I know like Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays you need a doctorate to play it.
Oh my god, the new Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, holy crap!
Like I've still been surprisingly, like, I watched this YouTube channel that just like does a bunch of top 10s on Yu-Gi-Oh! I just love their editing and pacing, so I still kind of like know what's going on in Yu-Gi-Oh! But even though I see that, it just makes me go like, yeah, I'm definitely not touching that game with a 10-foot pole. But I love hearing about like, oh, now there's pendulum cards,
and then there's Link. Jesus Christ, I was like,
it's like both so much text on it. And then there's like Link monsters now. They're like blue and have arrows pointing at them, and it's like something to do with where you space them. And then there's also like XE monsters where you stack them on top of each other. And yeah, it's
Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the Kingdom Hearts of card games.
That's a really good way of putting it. How is Duel Masters though? Like I don't think I just know it exists. That's like literally as far as I know
it
about
existed. I don't think it exists anymore.
If Bakugan can come back, so can Duel Masters. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm like, hey, isn't that Yugi's title? But
yeah,
like what kind of card game was it? Was it just like, do you still have the card somewhere?
No, it was. Oh man, I'm gonna be honest. Even I don't remember how it played. I'm pretty sure I wasn't aware how it. I didn't know how it played when I was playing it. Yeah, it was a physical card game. It had an anime on Cartoon Network.
Huh.
Yeah. You should check it out. See if it tickles your fancy, and then we'll play it on like Tabletop Secret later. I'm sure somebody's poured it into there.
For the 5 people that are interested in it, someone poured it.
Yeah.
Keep it alive.
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's funny that you mentioned an anime, since Yu-Gi-Oh! Was also. I wonder if that. I don't know which one. I wonder which one came first. But I would imagine Yu-Gi came first, and then Duel Masters came after, because it seems like an obvious thing to call something if you want to cash in on Yu-Gi's popularity.
Yeah, true. I guess that brings us to our the next topic that I want to talk about. Originally, I want to talk about Demon Slayer, the anime, but I have not caught up to. I've seen the first 3 episodes. Let me be honest. But the thing about Demon Slayer that I do love in those 3 episodes is the opening, and I think the only person that knows how much I love anime openings is your brother Angel. Like, I will just link him to different anime openings. So
why don't you link me to some?
Well, I don't think I've done it recently, but I'm pretty sure like all of my favorite anime openings you've probably seen. But that also just got me thinking about just regular TV intros, and I wanted to know a couple of your favorite. Originally, it was just going to be anime intros, but Jason barely watches anime.
Hey, I can easily answer Pokemon as a favorite anime intro, because again, Pokaholic over here. I own the cassette. I had the CD.
It's funny because that's like
obsessed with the entire soundtrack.
Anime, but I feel like I don't really count.
Yeah, because you guys are Pokemonist. I get it. You have prejudices against Pokemon, but no,
we like Pokemon.
I know. But the like if we're talking anime intros, like I have
still buy Pokemon.
So like I was my first, like one of my most listened to cassettes as a kid, and then CD with Pokemon World was the Pokemon ones, and like. Specifically, Orange Islands had a very good intro. The Orange Islands set of episodes.
The We All Live in the
Pokemon World. Pokemon. Yeah, that one.
Yeah,
although they both do that, but I just like the tropical aesthetic, and it was the first time they shook it up, so it felt different and exciting. Then they started doing it with every season. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess nothing can stick anymore. But
I mean, Pokemon was definitely the first show where like I really look forward to seeing how the intro will change.
You mean evolve? Do you mean evolve? How the Pokemon will evolve?
I guess you can say that.
Also, I wanted to squeeze this in earlier, but I couldn't make it work because the conversation didn't allow me. So you feel tepid about Teppen. Anyway, continue on. Wordplay. Yay. Anyway.
No, but yeah, I mean, like, just seeing, like, oh man, I hope they still have a good theme song in the next season. Like, that was always, like, something I was concerned with. Usually, they do. Actually, I don't want to say usually. Sometimes they do. Not so much.
I have discovered that Pokemon To Be a Master, and that's the number 2, a period, a capital B, a period, a capital A, a period, Master, is on Spotify and Apple Music in its entirety. So if you want to really go down memory lane and sing along to that song about going to Viridian City, it's there. If you want to cry to the one where Pikachu leaves, it's there. It's all there.
It's funny that you mentioned Pokemon because, like, now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever seen, aside from the first opening, the Japanese openings to Pokemon.
Oh, damn, you're right. I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah, I haven't seeked them out, but yeah, I haven't seen any.
I remember the first one because I think the first opening for Pokemon did the Poke Rap, like, with, I think, most of the first 150.
Wait, in the opening? They usually end the episode with it.
No. In Japan.
Oh, wait, the Poke Rap was the intro?
Yeah, if I remember correctly. I haven't seen it in forever.
You're blowing my mind over here.
I could have sworn that they did, or like they named a bunch of Pokemon in the intro.
Huh. I used to know most of the Poke Rap. I only know a small sliver now, off the top of my head, but I used to know, like, all of it.
Did you know that Johto had a Poke Rap?
It did, and it was not as good. It's
no,
like
was it terrible. Was it the Poke Rap?
What? No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't that. No, it was an actual like sequel Poke Rap, but it was like.
I mean, that was an actual.
Yeah,
thing.
It was. I remember, but that was kind of like making fun of like a self meta sort of thing. But this was an actual like follow up song with a different beat. They had the same concept, and it was like when a one hit wonder is like, oh, I'm gonna have that second hit, and you could just see them trying to emulate the first hit, and it just doesn't work, and then they're gone forever. It was kind of like that.
I just want to do a quick shout out to the best Poke Rap, which is Brian David Gilbert's Poke Rap from Polygon.
Yeah, that one's great.
That 10-minute masterpiece.
It is worth watching, not just the masterpiece, but the panel where he like crafted it.
Oh yeah, the panels.
Yeah, I think it was from PAX.
I'm going to talk about. I think I'm going to talk about that series in a future episode of Quarantine Chronicles. His Unraveled series on Polygon's YouTube channel is amazing.
His Waluigi one is so good, but we'll get to that sometime. But anime intros. I hijacked it with the most non-anime anime. What are some actual ones you guys like?
So,
well, in general,
we could start with anime and then bring it broader.
True.
Do you want to go first?
I mean, off the top of my head, I know you were probably going to say one of these, but I have to shout out the Mob Psycho ones.
Yeah.
Damn, like both. Just the fact it has two. I mean, it's only 2 seasons, and I think they're like each 13 episodes or 12. So the fact they have 2 intros that were not only both really great, but they feel like sequels to each other, which is also really cool. Like, damn, that's just a really good intro.
Yeah, the first intro I remember because I watched the entire series with your brother. We would just watch it on Crunchyroll. My house, his house. And I remember seeing the opening to the first season, which I think the first season opening is just called 99.
Yeah.
And usually, it's funny, I'm not a fan of when... So, Jason, I don't know if you know this, but Japanese openings for, like, animes, they use real songs. They're not usually made for the show. Like,
they find songs from, like, artists.
What a contrast from the West.
They actually use... like Japanese artists, like famous Japanese artists for their openings.
Interesting. So when you guys find an opening that resonates with you, like, is it because of the song or is it because of the style of the animation that goes with the song? If it's a song,
well, it's both. But it's funny that probably my favorite opening is the second season of Mob Psycho 100, which is 99.9. Is it 99.9 or 99.99? I think it's 99.9.
It's 99.9.
Yeah, 99.9. That song was specifically made, I'm pretty sure, for Mob Psycho. And like One Punch Man's first opening, where at the beginning they just scream one punch. I do not like that.
Hero.
Yeah, it's funny because both those series are by the same creator. But yeah, that's sick. And I remember specifically watching the first episode of season 2 with your brother, and him just laughing when like my mind was being blown by all the visuals in that second Mob Psycho opening. Especially when the chorus kicks in, I was like, "Whoa, dude!"
I know what they do with animation. The second one's really cool. Like I just love how they do that. I guess it's like slide in shadow movements. It's like stuff that you can only really replicate like in real life with actual paper. But the fact they bothered to do that.
Oh, you're talking about like the black lines as they pass by and they're doing the dancing. Yeah,
yeah, that or even I think this is something they do at the. Is it the first or the second intro where it's like spinning around and then it starts flashing and then you see it move? It's like a giant spinning carousel with all the little figures.
That's the beginning of the second opening. Yeah.
Ah, so there you go. So it has two things. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that opening is just perfect, as far as anime goes. Let me see what we introed with. I think Dragon Slayer has a pretty cool opening. The visuals are
Demon
nice.
Slayer?
Demon Slayer, yeah. And as far as I know, that song wasn't made for the anime, so.
Oh, really?
As far as I can tell, I don't think so. Definitely doesn't sound like it was made for the anime.
So if you had to pick one or the other, like can a good visual save an anime with a bad musical intro, or does the music save some poor visual in your mind? You know what I mean?
The music has to be good in some extent. Like it's kind of like what like I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but excellent animation can save some storytelling, but excellent storytelling can't save poor animation.
Right.
So if something is animated very terribly, like even if the story is great, you probably still can't get into it. But if something is animated amazingly well, then you could probably still like get some enjoyment out of it. And that's not even to say like I know like someone might point out like, oh, well, what about some stuff on Adult Swim like Danger Mouse or like like some shows that look ugly. They're not necessarily like animated terribly because it's very intentional. Like some of the things they do works for what they're trying to do. It's just more like when the animation just like literally just doesn't make sense. I feel like that's something you just have to see more than anything. But
that kind of makes sense. That kind of makes sense because like I'm thinking like beyond anime, like
the music has to at least be adequate for the animation to like still save it. But
right, because actually I guess I'm the opposite about that. Well, maybe because it's like the intros for non-animes don't necessarily have a story. Like obviously there's all those like intros where it's like just clips from the episodes of that season or whatever, like Rick and Morty does that. But like I'm thinking like like Game of Thrones has a very iconic intro song, and you could say the animation of basically the pieces on the war games board moving around is pretty iconic. But like I never particularly like I always thought it was kind of long and unnecessary, and like it just kind of kept going. And like why is the camera swooping inside what amounts to a chess piece? Like that doesn't really make sense. But then like True Detective, I can't remember the music for True Detective off my top of my head, but I love the visual.
True Detective.
I don't remember the music.
Anime, if we're talking about anime, Mob Psycho opening 2, if we're talking about like just live action, True Detective season 1, probably hands down the best opening to any TV show.
Well, are we talking about the music or the visual? Because I was talking
both.
Okay, because I don't remember the music very well, but the visual sticks with me so much stronger. That's my point. Is like, so Angel, have you seen True Detective?
No.
So the intro for True Detective Season 1, I guess they do it for all of them, but it's best in Season 1 because when it was the original idea, is they're basically silhouettes, but in the silhouettes are scenes. Like drawing, like not really drawings, but like they're like a silhouette of a person, and in the silhouette is like a silhouetted scene of something that happened sometime that season, kind of. And they keep doing this.
I don't know if
this
it's going to affect anything with the episode, but here, Angel. I'm sending it to you. You got to see it.
Where you sent? Oh, True Detective?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. But like that one, like, so like Game of Thrones, I can more quickly tell you, oh yeah, the music's like da 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 and all that. And I know exactly what happens, but True Detective to me is the better intro, even though I don't actually remember the music. Even though I know they marry well. But
no, well, that's because like in anime, like
they sync. Because
they're always lyrical.
Okay,
it's like it's very rare that it's not lyrical. That's why the lyrics, that's why the music is. It has to be important, like for better or worse.
Right.
Like if it was just like instrumentals and stuff like that, then yeah, I could see it not mattering as much.
Sometimes it works though. Tank,
yeah,
Cowboy Bebop.
Oh yes, yeah. Like there's some exceptions that work really well.
Even though I think that intro is kind of overrated, to be honest.
You know what's my all-time favorite intro?
It doesn't get good until the saxophone solo.
Wait, what? Saxophone solo?
All right, I guess I'm linking this to you.
Yes, you are. Yes, please.
The Cowboy Bebop,
but you know what my all-time favorite intro is, and I'm a little biased because I just love the show in general. But it's actually not an intro; it's like the anti-intro, Mr. Robot.
This True Detective intro is kind of interesting,
right? Isn't it like visually very like captivating?
It's very distinct.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost like watercolors playing out in front of you, kind of.
I love the song too.
But yeah,
I think
Angel.
No, I think literally only because I just like seeing like the small miniatures. I think I like the Game of Thrones ones more, just because I just like the animation. But I can still see why this one could be considered better.
Yeah,
especially if you watch the show.
It's very much.
Very much.
Did we just do a real time one of those like real time like person reacts to like the
no,
you know like the kid?
We're not. It's usually needs a visual.
True.
To
like that one going around right now with the two teens reacting to Phil Collins. I don't know if you've seen that. It's been trending all day.
That was great.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's a great video.
Yeah.
Oh, Phil Collins is something that. What?
There's two teens who are reacting to Phil Collins, and just when
like
when the electric drums come in, like 3 minutes in on the song, they're both like, "Whoa!" Like it's pretty funny.
No, it's specifically In the Air Tonight.
Yeah, it's In the Air Tonight.
Where the drum solo kicks in.
It's pretty great. It's pretty great, and they're like, yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, what Star says, I think my all-time favorite intro actually isn't even an intro; it's a lack of an intro. Mr. Robot. Like they made it a point.
Intros are pretty cool, especially when they integrate the logo into the what. They only did that once, right?
There was only one time I think where they directly integrate it into the scene. But what they always try and do every single episode is like they'll have a scene play out, and instead of the cold open cutting to the intro, the cold open literally like pans over to a spot where the logo can appear. So either like pan up to the sky or like pan into a blank area, or like sometimes if it's a really dramatic scene, it'll just overlay like really suspensefully on top. Like there's one I think where they even had like horror strings right when the logo flashed. But it really they go out of their way to make it feel like the logo drop is somehow part of the story itself, which is kind of cool. And there was one where they actually had it like on a physical thing in the episode. But yeah, I always thought that was really cool. In part because everyone else always does intros, so having it. And some will do just like, I think Handmaid's Tale just flashes the logo, but to like kind of do it in a way that doesn't interrupt the story is really, I thought, kind of cool and different.
No, yeah, I absolutely agree, especially with Mr. Robot. I can't really think of a show that does that.
Yeah, no one does it quite the same way.
All.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when you think back to, I mean, obviously it makes sense, but I guess like to Saturday morning cartoon era shows where everything has to be upbeat and just catchy as hell. They're just like earworm songs basically. Yeah. Like I couldn't really tell you a lot about like the actual animation that's going in because most of the time it's just showing you clips from the show. Mm-hmm. But just like thinking off the top of my head, like the Ninja Turtles theme song, DuckTales,
Animaniacs,
Tailspin. I guess a lot of Disney stuff.
Pinky in the Brain.
And then like Spider-Man, the X-Men cartoons.
Oh yeah, the Batman. Oh, the Batman animated series one was cool just because it didn't have
that one.
I don't remember that one at all.
It didn't have any vocals. It was just like horns and then an explosion and then Batman stops two like bank robbers, and it's just very dark and moody. Like it really sets the tone for that series really, really well. Like that's one that I would definitely recommend someone I recommend someone should rewatch that one if they can at some point.
And like honestly, like the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, there's a whole like Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? This one looking back on it, quite racist, but Hong Kong Phooey's intro was like that still is in my like I know that tune by heart still all these years later.
I love how like in my
racist heart, I guess. No, but it is super like looking back on it, whew, that was racist. But yeah, I mean Hong Kong, whew, that was racist. But yeah, it was just like there is, to your point, something about like those cartoons where it's like a whole different type. It's like there's genres of intros. Like, it starts with anime and that's a genre of intro. And then there's like the kind of moody, like music, set to music, but not lyrics, Game of Thrones, True Detective. Another one I'm going to throw in the mix, House of Cards. It's really simple, but I always really liked, how they just did these really crisp, super HD shots of Washington DC on time lapse, and then there's always this one part where like some brass comes in the intro for like a second, just like a dissonant chord, but they do it right when a train zips by in the time lapse, and I was like, oh, that's so cool how it syncs up. But it's all like very vibrantly colored, even though it's at night. So there's like that genre, and then there's Saturday morning cartoons, which I guess is what Pokemon's intro actually kind of falls into more than anime. But yeah, so it is interesting how there's like buckets.
Yeah, because it's even like, I guess kind of going back to anime intros, like I never really watched Dragon Ball growing up, but like just the intro itself, like I guess
Rock the Dragon or the other one?
The other one, because I didn't even know there was a Rock the Dragon one, because since I randomly saw that show in Mexico, where they didn't bother remaking anything.
Oh, Chala.
They still did Chala Hechala, just like a Spanish version. They're like, we're not gonna completely redo the intro. We're just gonna translate it, except that one part.
Right.
And yeah, so that intro like always stuck with me, and I've always like just liked it just because it just became nostalgic at some point. And yeah, I don't know. I just think it's interesting how like sometimes even you could just love an intro for a show, and it almost makes me feel like whenever I hear that intro, it's like I don't know. It's like I just you just really enjoy listening to it. That it kind of sometimes like want to seek it out in other Dragon Ball mediums. Like I feel like if I ever have any interest in Dragon Ball, it's because the intro got me there, and not so much the other way around. And then when I heard the English one, I'm all like, oh, I mean that's cool, but
that's not as.
I mean, it's very like rock and dragon, fight the dragon, but.
Oh yeah, Rock the Dragon. They also had another one that was pretty memorable, which was just an instrumental. But that was in the original Funimation dub of Dragon Ball Z. I did not like Dragon Ball Super at all.
Really?
But the second Dragon Ball Super opening is one of the most hype things that I will ever see in my entire life. Like I would drag myself out of bed to like, oh man, I can't believe I'm watching Dragon Ball Super and it's not good at all. But the glimmer of hope was always the second opening of Dragon Ball Super, where it's like, for those who don't know, basically the final arc of Dragon Ball Super is just a tournament, and every shonen anime pretty much has to have a tournament at some point.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't that the arc of everything?
Yeah, but this was like everything. A battle royale tournament. It wasn't like just 1v1s. It was just a battle royale between like over like 100 different characters. So
and universes too, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, the 100 characters from different universes. Yeah, but that intro was hype as hell.
I mean, I know like Dragon Ball is the poster child for like, oh man, like I'm getting my butt kicked. Oh, okay, but powered up to my new form. Mm-hmm. Now I'm beating up the other guy. Mm-hmm. Oh, now he's powered up to his new form. Now, like it just goes back and forth until someone runs out of forms.
Yeah.
And I remember like about a decade ago thinking just like oh, okay, I think that's the kind of where it stopped. But I don't know. I guess I'm always just kind of like it always piques my interest, and just to see like, wait, there's still a new form. They're still getting stronger.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember a couple of years ago, it was like, oh, now Goku could turn blue. He's like God Goku, and then after that he was Ultra Instinct and Silver. Is that the current highest one? Is there like something beyond that?
Yeah,
that
Ultra Instinct is the highest level right now.
Which, you know, like there was a time where like Super Saiyan was the best, and then there's Super Saiyan 2, and then 3, and then 4, where you lose your eyebrows.
Well, 4 isn't even canon anymore.
Oh.
Well, I guess
like,
it never was canon, but...
And so I guess those are like trash tier, like ultras now. But
yeah, pretty much.
It's crazy how like everyone, like, you know, like, oh, now you have like planet destroying powers, and then they're fighting against people that literally can just like end everything if they want to, but the whole thing is that they're either too lazy to do it, or they're like kind of innocent, or just don't do that.
Right.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's like I feel like they're writing themselves into a corner if they haven't already, but they're obviously creative enough to keep finding ways to avoid that.
Well, I know.
I feel like they're in the corner. They just keep raising the ceiling on the corner, and then they just keep climbing up that corner.
It's power creep in like anime form.
Yeah.
Because now they're literally, I mean, the tournament they just had, wasn't it literally like all planet destroying god? Like they're literally fighting against the gods themselves that created everything.
No, it was just 10 fighters from each universe.
But isn't one of the judges the god themselves or something?
Oh
like,
yeah,
they're like little
the little twins. Yeah, those are supposed to be the creators of the entire existence, I guess. But man, that show's bad. But that second intro, pretty awesome.
Well, I got you to watch the rest of the series, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, unfortunately, what a waste of time Dragon Ball Super was. Jesus Christ.
But that 30-second intro at the start made it all worth it, huh?
That what?
That like 30-second intro at the start of that.
Oh no, that's the best thing about anime openings. They're 1minute and 30 seconds.
Oh, that's true. They are pretty long, except Pokemon, which is more of a Saturday morning.
Then you get the outro as well. And the best part is that if you really like, and
we didn't even
the
talk
best
about
part
it.
is like, oh, I know, like those are like their own thing too. And I mean, one thing that I really love about the fact that when you find an anime intro song that you really like, usually you could rest assured like, oh, that means there's like a full song available, like usually on Spotify or like some other thing. So it's always cool when you get to hear the full 3-minute version. It's like, oh, it's still going.
Yeah, I've been listening to Bleach openings for like on repeat the last week on Spotify, whatever they have. The Bleach opening is also very good, even though that is a shonen anime. One of the big three. Yeah, but
that one's still going.
No, so it got.
I feel like Bleach was definitely like the weakest of the
three.
I guess of the ones that came out. Yeah, the ones that came out from its era.
Naruto, One Piece, and Bleach. Yeah, Bleach got canceled in 2013, I think. But next year it's its 20th anniversary, and they're going to adapt the final arc of the manga, which they didn't do.
Huh.
Yeah, so I am excited about that. Hopefully, I was also going to talk about, in talking about Demon Slayer, I was going to talk about how I was like, oh, I should rewatch Bleach because I remember loving that show. But, man, the animation is terrible. It's so bad. Especially when you compare it to, especially when you compare it to something like Demon Slayer or Mob Psycho. Yeah, it's really bad. Even the late episodes are really, really bad. So... That's why I'm not
fortunate to hear.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully it's hopefully the final arc is animated much better. I can only hope. But
well, kind of on the opposite end of that, like I guess we were just talking about animated intros. I guess in tradition with talking about the last movie I saw on my movie nights. I finally got around to watching The Patriot.
Does it have an
You
animated...
make it sound like...
Does it have an intro?
It was on the list, and you're like, all right, I guess this is it. I'm finally watching it.
Yeah. And does Mel Gibson sing at the start? The tie into the intro. I'm like, wait, what?
I mean, it was on my list. Like, on my... Really? I have a list. Yeah, I have a list of movies I want to watch just because I haven't seen them.
How did The Patriot get on that list? Like, I don't recall it being that, like, iconic of a movie of its era. Am I wrong? I know it's like a movie from that time, but I remember it being like one of the must-see movies.
Yeah. Like if there's a Mel Gibson movie that
wouldn't it be?
It'd be like Braveheart.
Braveheart, yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen Braveheart?
It's not so much. No.
And yet the
I
Patriot.
feel like you should have seen Braveheart instead of the Patriot, honestly. But all right.
It's not so much that like that one had a lot of notoriety. It was sometimes it's just a lot of movies that like this one I know was playing when I was in the room, and it's just a movie I've been wanting to get around to watching, especially because I knew like my sister really liked it, and I know my dad really liked it, so I just kind of want to see like why they liked it in particular, not so much like why. Well, I guess not like other movies where I want to see what the whole fuss was about that the whole world was talking about. This one was more like why did my dad in particular like it, or why did my sister remember really liking
So
it.
you're looking at the micro fuss instead of the macro fuss about it.
Yeah, because in the olden days, like I mean, yeah, if it wasn't animated, I did not care. So
the
like,
olden days, as
and
to
even
like
if I
3 years
that,
ago.
yeah, like I would just still find it like I would just find it boring, especially like anything that has to do with history. But
I mean, I feel you.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I still ended up really enjoying this movie.
Oh, right, well,
I mean,
that's great.
the Gibster.
Nope. 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 Just gonna nope that one right there. Just cross that off the list.
I mean, ignoring like everything he's done. I mean, just looking at his performance in that movie and ignoring everything else. I mean, I thought he did a good job. Like he actually had something that like stuck with me more than anything else. I feel was that he had like one of the most like realistic cries I've ever seen in a movie.
When his son dies at the spoilers for
a movie from like 1998.
Yeah, when his son was it Joseph Gordon-Levitt? I feel like it was, right?
No. It wasn't Joseph Gordon. He was John Connor, whoever played John Connor.
I'm looking it up. Don't you worry.
That's right. From Terminator 2.
Well, no, not when he died. When his other son died. When the Joker died.
What? What are you? Now I'm lost.
Heath Ledger is who he's talking about.
Heath Ledger.
Who dies in the Patriot at the beginning?
The John Connor. So he dies in the beginning, and yeah, he gets sad, but he doesn't go into full on cry. Like pretty much like when John Connor dies and prevents and I guess like leading the way to Skynet. Mel Gibson gets really mad, and that's he pretty much immediately goes into Rambo mode as soon as his son dies. So he doesn't really have like a moment to cry. He just kills off a bunch of people and becomes that legend that eventually has a payoff later on. But when his other son, Mark Hamill, when the Joker dies to Captain Hook, because that is
wait, hold on,
okay,
no, wait. The Joker in Patriot is Heath Ledger, not Mark Hamill. Wrong Joker. You're very confused. I'm very confused.
No. Mark Hamill. Wait, no. What are you talking? No, wasn't Mark Hamill?
Didn't you just say Mark Hamill?
Yeah, you said.
No,
Mark
I
Hamill.
said
you said Mark Hamill. You meant Heath Ledger.
You
said Mark Hamill.
No,
we both heard
said
it. Roll back the tape.
Oh, maybe I said Mark Hamill. But anyway, when the Joker kills Hook, when the Joker gets killed by Captain Hook, that's when he gives off a very realistic cry. I don't know the name of the actor.
I have a new idea for the podcast. Sorry to cut you off real quick. Instead of Kevin listing off Xbox Game Pass things for 2 hours, could we just get you describing movies using the characters from other movies?
Yeah, it's not confusing at all.
All right, when Mark Hamill's character,
nope.
Mark Hamill, when Heath Ledger's character is killed by the actor that plays Captain Hook in a Peter Pan remake that isn't associated with Disney.
Yeah,
it's
Hook.
just like a live action Peter Pan. No, it's not called Hook. It's called Peter Pan. Hook is the one with.
Hook is the one with
the movie,
Robin Williams.
Yeah, Hook is the one with Robin Williams. The one I'm talking about is called Peter Pan, and Captain Hook is played by this dude who also plays the father in that same Peter Pan movie. He plays both the father and Captain Hook.
Oh, it's Jason Isaacs. I love
Jason Isaacs. Yeah, I'm...
Wait, you've seen that Peter Pan movie?
No, I'm on the Wikipedia because I've just lost as to who you're talking about.
Yeah, and I'm on IMDb trying to piece this together in real time.
All right, so Mel Gibson, the
Gibster,
yeah, the Gibster, he loses John Connor to Hook, and then the Joker
he loses the Joker.
No. Okay, you're in the beginning of the movie, he loses John Connor.
John Connor's not in this movie.
Yes, he is. He's the kid.
No,
wait, hold on. Where does Percy Jackson fit in? Because Percy Jackson's in this movie,
yeah,
too.
I'm looking at that. Logan Lerman was in this movie?
I'm going to grab this IMDb right now, too, and then you're going to be like, so...
This has evolved into madness. The best type of madness.
All right, The Patriot. Here we go. And let's see, where am I? Okay, we got Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Jason Isaac. All right, what's the name of the kid? Man, these are like pictures of them now. That's gonna make it hard. All right, I guess I could go by the last name. So Gabriel. So
I feel like this is all karma for you calling Mel Gibson the Gibster.
Okay, there's Corporal Gabriel Martin, which is Heath Ledger. Then Thomas Martin, played by Gregory Smith. Then Nathan Martin. Then Samuel Martin, who doesn't have a Wikipedia page. Then Logan Lerman, who almost was Spider-Man.
Really?
Think it's
I didn't know
Gregory Martin. I think it's this Gregory
Smith guy. That Gregory Smith guy is not John Connor.
Wow, then who's John Connor?
John Connor is Edward Furlong. This is the guy this is the main character for Small Soldiers. I knew I've seen this kid before.
Yeah, because I knew I'd seen him before, but I thought it was for... Huh, you're right. So, let me rewind a bit. So, Mel Gibson...
The Gibster.
So the Gibster gets really mad at Hook for killing small soldiers. and so then...
This all makes sense.
Yeah, I got it now.
Yeah, and so the Joker, also feeling mad because Small Soldiers was his brother, he goes off and joins the army, and then he eventually gets killed by Hook because he runs off and does his reckless thing after he loses his wife that he just got married to the day before, which was actually kind of bumming. But
and just for clarity, it's pencil trick Joker, not cartoon Joker. For anyone that's thinking the wrong Joker, it's important to specify. And it's also not basketball courtside Joker either. That's a different Joker. Continue, please.
It's also not Jared Leto.
Yeah, he hasn't got a special title.
And so when What a Woman Wants finds the Joker...
Hold up.
That's the name of the movie, isn't it? Mel Gibson started in What a Woman Wants. That's when he gives a very realistic cry. It's a very ugly cry, but it actually feels like that's how an actual person cries, not like your typical movie cries. Like, it actually felt like he had like a strong connection to him. I just really believed it, and yeah, I mean that. I just thought that was great. I mean. And then after that, Passion of the Christ got his revenge on Hook, and we're good.
You're crying. I'm literally tearing up with laughter.
He's Mad Max. You didn't even use that.
Wait, who's Mad Max? Mel Gibson?
He's old Mad Max. Yeah, but
he was in the first Mad Max.
He was in the first three. He's Mad Max.
I thought.
So you could have said
what women want instead of Mad Max.
I haven't seen Mad Max.
Or Braveheart.
The only Mad Max I know about is the one where Venom is the main character.
You mean Bane?
Oh, it's the same dude?
Yeah.
Damn.
You didn't know that?
So 21 Jump Street is Mad Max?
No.
Those are completely different people.
That's Magic Mike.
And I don't mean Superbad. I mean the other 21.
No, that's Magic Mike, a.k.a. Channing Tatum.
Wait, Magic Mike is Channing Tatum?
He's in it. Yeah. I don't know if he is the Magic Mike. I don't know if that's a single
think he
person.
Is Magic Mike.
Okay.
I thought Magic Mike was just like some nickname they gave Michael Jordan because of how incredibly talented he was at basketball.
No, it's a movie about male strippers. What are you talking about?
I guess I just never knew what Magic Mike was.
There's two of them, Magic Mike and Magic Mike XXL, which exactly what you think it means.
I kind of want to see a movie where
they're gonna be like, I kind of want to see that.
Has a son named. I kind of like my version where John Connor was the son, but I guess Small Soldiers will have to do. But yeah, so honestly, there were a few action scenes that I thought were really well done, mainly because like there were a couple gunfights, but because it's a period piece, so everyone takes forever to reload, and every shot kind of is given its own like space to breathe. I felt like I felt way more tension in those than the ones in John Wick, but then again, that was not really the point of John Wick's. I mean, the point of those is just to see just how badass he is at just going through all those guns. But anyway, yeah, so The Patriot, glad I saw it. I don't know if I don't think it's like a recommend or a must watch or anything, but if you happen to find yourself watching it, it's definitely entertaining. Definitely also kind of interesting that we just saw like Hamilton, I think the week before, 2 weeks before, so it still kind of felt we were in a period PC history kind of way, like period. Like the next movie we're going to watch actually, well, the next pick that I have is a movie called, oh man, I forgot what it was called. It'll come back to me.
Who does it star? Let us know who it stars.
No, I mean, I'm watching that one, well, when it comes out in Blu-ray in September. I'm just going to wait because I want to watch it on the big TV with that. I mean, I do have Apple TV because I know it is on there for free. Well, I guess technically. But yeah, I think I will wait for it. I think it's nope, I forgot. But it's basically a World War II movie set in Japan that's around the time that they dropped the nukes, and it's animated. It's fully animated.
So no actor association game with this one then, if it's animated?
In this corner of the world. That's what it's called.
So no actor association.
Are there any familiar voices that you would know of?
No, because I'm just gonna watch it subbed, so I definitely probably wouldn't recognize the voice. Especially for movies, I feel like I don't know. I don't think I'd be able to recognize any voices
Japanese
or recurring voices from anime voices. Yeah,
there's like one or two that I can think of.
You'll find some other rom-com that you can somehow plug into it. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
But definitely looking forward to Weathering with You.
Well, I don't think that we're going to top that last segment.
No, we're not. That was quite possibly the single funniest thing that's ever happened in the nearly 9 years of Random Nintendo. Like, that was
Jesus
insane.
Christ, Angel.
And then what a woman wants to go to jail.
What a woman wants.
That's the episode title, right? It has to be.
What a woman
or is that
wants?
Spoiling the joke? Or is that spoiling the
that might
joke?
be spoiling the joke.
All right, maybe that's a little secret nugget for people that listen to that.
I can't believe so 30 Rock comes out in the sequel. I forgot his name. Tyler Jordan?
What?
Jordan?
Are you talking about Tracy Morgan?
Tracy Morgan. He comes out in What
in the sequel
Men Want.
Yes,
I
she's in
thought
What Men
into
Want.
the sequel
yes.
of The Patriot. I was
like, I guess the sequel to What Women Want, even though I guess Mel Gibson isn't in it, so I guess it's just the gender version.
It's like a spiritual sequel, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was Tracy Morgan and wow,
the lady from Ghostbusters?
No, it was Tiffany Haddish.
No, that's also wrong.
No, wasn't she in it?
No.
Pretty sure she's in it.
No.
real helpful guy.
Don't you have IMDb up?
I'm working on it.
I'm done with this podcast. You
I'm
can
working on
follow
it.
us
Hang
on Twitter, RandNintendo.com. You can follow us individually.
On Twitter, we're just Ram Nintendo, no com.
Right.
That's point one.
By the
and
way,
point two is, it's Taraji P. Henson. I got the wrong key name.
I told you. Also, timestamps at the bottom. I forgot it at the top again.
Oh, well.
It's a tradition at this point.
At least we said who we were.
They know how this works.
Yeah,
at least we said who we were.
Yeah,
Sometimes we forget
that. You can follow us on any podcasting service of your choosing. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, which, were we ever on Google Play Music?
We were. We still are. It's just they rebranded it, so we rebranded it in accordance with their style guide.
Well, rest in peace, Google Play Music. I hardly knew ye. What else? Are we on TuneIn?
We are on TuneIn. We are on Apple Podcasts. I don't think you said that one.
Hold on. We are in TuneIn, and we've never mentioned it?
I used to mention it back in the day, but bigger platforms came into the picture like Pandora, so I kind of swapped it. Because, I could go for days when I list them out otherwise.
That
Because
really?
we're on iHeart. We're also on iHeartRadio, but you didn't know that.
What?
Mm-hmm.
This is the
But
first
they
time
just
hearing of
they
this.
just syndicate from Apple Podcasts, so that's why.
Oh, okay. Not a big
Like
deal.
that, so basically, if you're on Apple Podcasts, every other podcasting service except like now Pandora and Stitcher and Spotify, because they're all trying to be their own, but all the like sub ones, so to speak, Pocket Cast, whatever, all pull from that same index essentially.
Pocket Cast,
Yeah,
the best of the podcasting apps.
it is a very good app. Yeah.
Love that app. But unfortunately, I don't want to split hairs between my apps. Anyways, follow us individually on our Twitters. I'm KVN Gomi. Jason is JSR7.
Mm-hmm.
Angel is Weiro, WEIRO_O. And did I forget any other housekeeping thing?
Did we say YouTube is random.com? Well, now we did. So there you go.
Well, now we did. So
Yeah.
we covered our bases there.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I swear I'll get better at this.
Hey, it's only been 7 episodes and another dozen that you've been on with me hosting.
Jesus Christ.
Baby steps.
I guess with that, take us out.
Who?
Either one of you, take us out.
Angel, give us some actor associations.
What?
I don't know.
All right. Oh, I meant like as in, yeah. What the thought be here? It seems like a good thought at this point.